Hello.
Hello.
Final rankings for season 18.
Final rankings for season 18.
Just to
What
kind of set the scene,
season?
I feel like I mean, you can talk about it. You can say if
Yeah.
you want to do it differently, but the finale has happened. We are 2 days out of the season. Do we want to talk about it like it has already happened, or are we talking about it as if we were going into the finale?
Well, I think both. Like we have our scores locked from the two previous weeks. So I think let's run through like the
But we'll
final
talk
five
about like
and
the
final four
results of the
and
season.
talk about like why we gave those scores. This won't come out until probably after the finale because of that.
Yeah,
Um, but
that's what I
yeah.
mean. Like, do we want to talk about like the winner and
Yeah, I think
yeah,
so.
I think it's fine.
Otherwise, I feel stupid that we're
Yeah.
dancing around. But yeah. No, I think we'll go through why we gave the scores that we did before the finale, talked about how the finale played out. We'll also be able to go through some season concluding things, looking at people's averages, how the season stacks up to other seasons.
We're gonna do
Um
that all in
with that
50
moving
minutes.
forward. Yeah, I'm here for that as well. So I
Well,
mean, yeah, let's just dive in.
this is the final five and the final four rankings. We locked in our scores at the time, so it was not influenced by the finale at all. Um, let's start with that duel at the final five.
Yeah. So just to like rejog my brain, the final five, we had Karina as the head of household, winning Mini Mania, and then also winning the power of veto and choosing not to change her noms, which were Abdul and Sarah. Um, this was Abdul's first time on the block, which is notable. Um, there was the Cooper Apology Tour of 2025, which was notable. Um, and there was in my opinion, a missed opportunity with this vote based off of um how comps have been going. So that's at least like a rejogging case of Final Five. Was there anything else that you want to add there, Stephen?
No, that's pretty much it, I think.
Cool.
Um, I feel like those were the oh, hello, 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 hello. Hello. This is so fun because when I cut out, I can hear myself and the YouTube can hear me, but Scott can't hear me.
Was gonna get
But
him.
everybody else can hear me. Oh, sorry.
Cool. Okay.
I was just
I
saying that when I cut out, the recording can still hear me, but you can't hear me. So I was just talking in the meantime. Um,
amazing.
yeah, no, nothing. What?
What was the
I heard, do you have anything else to add?
Oh, geez. Okay. So then let's just no, and I heard that.
Wait, my Wi-Fi always cuts out like right when I start a Zoom. So, and it's usually good after it cuts out for like a second.
Are we good?
I'm good.
Okay, amazing. Um, so we should dive in now.
Yeah, start talking about a duel
Okay, Abdul.
for the first
Um,
time.
yeah, talking about Abdul for the first time and not r-
All right,
repeating.
come on, let's go.
Don't tell me to come on, let's go. You're the one who has whack ass Wi-Fi right now. I was on Cooper.
And
Um,
you were on Cooper. You gave Abdul a score already?
yes. Um,
What? You didn't
so
put it in? Wait, what?
um anyway, I'll give my thoughts again quickly. The Abdul, we've been saying it for a while, had been slipping on his grasp on the game, and I think has been with how he's been playing, has been playing for around a sixth or fifth place finish. Because quite frankly, he's been surrounded by bigger players that are going to be able to win more comps, make more moves, and have been planning on cutting him. He no longer has the allies to like make the move on people. Um, he lands it on the block this week to, in my opinion, no one's huge surprise. Actually, the only surprise was the fact that Cooper wasn't on the block, but he lands it on the block. And quite frankly, I think that he should have gone home had Cooper and Zion made the right move here in keeping Sarah around Um, had Zion made the right move here, actually, I should say. But all to say, heading out of the final five, I think Abdul's position had really slipped, and I think everyone was evicting him at four, which is not a great position to be in. I thus brought my score down to the red zone and gave Abdul a four for this week.
Yeah, I brought him down to a five. Uh, I think by the end of the season, my rankings tend to be a little bit higher because there's only so many things that have to happen for you to get to the end. And admittedly, at this time, like he had a very good shot to win the final four HOH, one and three. And we'll talk about how he was very close to that. I think if Abdul got to the end with Cooper somehow, I think he has a very good shot to win. Um, so that's why I sit at a five, or I went down only to a five. Um, you can
Very
all
nice.
my back end here. I don't care.
Cool. Final five for Cooper. Um, we said last week that Cooper was at a one and was probably going to be at a one for the rest of the season. Spoiler alert, we broke our rule. In the beginning of the week, Cooper was doubling down on everything that he did. He joined the HOH and just started bashing on Sarah. Like I had never been more over a human in my entire life. But hey, he then started going on an apology tour because Karina told him to go on an apology tour and she was HOH and he did it and he didn't mean a single word of it. And Sarah clocked him for that, saying, I'm not going to accept your apology. I think that you're just doing this so you don't go on the block. And that was exactly correct. I think as time went on, I do sincerely think when he gave those apologies, he didn't mean them. After time went on, he did text in his diary and was like, guys, like I actually did mean it. And while I don't think that was true, I think the true thing is like as time went on, he realized that like, oh, okay, it's actually not that deep. And like I do apologize. So for that, I'm like, okay, vibes. And like how the finale went and things, like I think it's all chill now. Or whatever. I'm raising my score to a three because he stayed, but there was just not a lot of rope here. So
Yeah, I'm going to a three as well. I mean, evicting Sarah he was wavering on it, I think, more than Zion was, which was crazy. Um, but yeah, I don't have much more to give than a three here. Hooray. Karina.
Karina, last week, Karina had an eight from me and a nine from you. Um, this week I will be going up to a nine. Um, and that's for a couple of reasons. One, I think that it was this week, it was Cooper's HOH, largely led by Karina, in my opinion, that really started setting her up for the end game that she had. Um, Up to this point, I've been clear about Karina, I think, playing more for the duo that is her and Zion and not just herself. But not that that changed here, but I just think now that like what was playing best for their duo was what was playing best for her. And Sarah leaving here benefited her the most out of anyone. Um, with I think Abdul looking to probably cut Zion if he had the chance. I think Cooper was more loyal to Karina and would have cut Zion of the two of them if he had the chance. And Sarah was the only one that was coming for Karina first and foremost. So this really benefited her most, set herself up to be in the position where I think I don't know how she gets evicted at four in this scenario, in all honesty, because Zion just doesn't evict her. Cooper doesn't evict her next to Abdul. Like maybe it would have to be
I feel like Abdul wins the
like
veto.
Zion wins the final HOH and Abdul wins the veto and it's Cooper versus Karina. Like maybe that's the scenario, but that really was never going to happen. So based off of Abdul's final five veto performance, so it's a nine from me.
Or Abdul is HOH and Cooper wins the veto. Do you think Cooper would evict Karina over Zion?
No, Cooper would evict Zion. He said
I went down to an eight. Mostly because I moved down to an 8 for Zion, and I think in the end, at this point, I was still pretty confident Zion would take the votes over Karina. So I wanted them at least both of them to be equal. So I went down to an 8 for Karina.
Alrighty, another 8.5 for Karina.
Ooh. Okay, Sarah.
Sarah. I adore Sarah. Sarah was the biggest surprise joy for me this season. Almost wasn't here. But in true BBSS alternate fashion, was the light of the world this season. There's nothing too much to say about the gameplay this week. Karina was the HOH, Sarah was her obvious target. The only thing I will say is like, I think I wouldn't say Sarah gave up too quickly, because like the writing kind of was on the wall, but I do think there's a world where Sarah could have been able to convince at least Zion that it was the right move to keep her, um, because she always was going to cut Cooper. And then if Zion was on board to keep Sarah, like if Zion could have convinced Coop, like there was a stray world where she could have stayed, because I think it was the right move for Zion. Um, but it would have taken a lot, and I think that Sarah, after losing Rod, seeing this duo, being up on the block, losing the veto, was like, okay, I'm trying to campaign, but they're kind of telling me that like it's not going to work, so I'm not going to waste my breath. Best of luck, and that's okay. I'm giving Sarah a 3. I
Me
refuse to give
three.
her lower than Cooper, so it'll be a 3.
Me three. Uh, yeah, really glad to have Sarah this season. It was kind of over when she lost the veto. Well, it wasn't really. It really wasn't because there was a little bit of a waiver there, but she was so close to the end, and I think she had such a good shot to win that I feel she is deserving of a 3 for this week. Okay, Zion.
Finally, Zion. Last week had a 9 from both of us, the first 9 of the season. Um, this week I went down to an 8. Um, and I hear what you're saying about wanting to have Karina and Zion at the same score. For me, this was when I started to see the jury respecting Karina's game more. And while I do agree with you that I still saw Zion taking it, because Karina made such a strong move for her personal game. And this is the first time, in my opinion, maybe all season, that like the move that was made specifically benefited Karina and solely Karina and disadvantaged Zion. I think having Sarah here at 4 would have helped him more. Granted, of course, like we know it didn't matter.
Yeah.
And to be clear, I only docked my score 1 point because it didn't matter all too much, and I didn't think it would. But I think for Zion, having Sarah here, even as just like a theoretical vote to evict, like does broaden the horizons of keeping Zion safe over Karina in the final 4 if it came down to that. I also think that on paper, they've studied these comps. They knew the web was coming. I think it should have been very obvious, given that Sarah made it very obvious that Google Slides and her are not allies.
Yeah.
Um, and there was a world where Abdul could have won the web versus I think there was really no way in hell that Sarah was winning the final 4. So I think it was a bit of a misstep. Ultimately, wasn't going to matter too much, but it is an 8 for me. I did think that Karina deserved the edge over him this week for my scoring.
I went down a point as well to an 8. Uh, I do think he should have, and now of course we know it didn't matter, but maybe it would have. Maybe it would have been if he took Sarah to the final 4. Maybe he could have used that in the final 2 to say, like, this is what I did to benefit my game over Karina's. So we're saying it doesn't
Yeah,
matter, but he didn't win, so it could have mattered.
we'll talk about the final 2. I don't let's say he did it. I don't see Zion saying
Like
like
communicating that.
I don't Zion's plea we'll talk about it in
Yeah,
the
we'll
end.
talk when we get
There's
there.
layers to talk about. And
Um,
dive in later. But that was the final five.
all right, let's go to the final four.
Final four. Abdul, there is nothing more to add here. Honestly, the fact that he made it 2-4 was a little further than I feel like we've talked about him making it. And he was super close to winning the HOH, was literally one off in the tiebreaker.
Yeah. Which I
So
think it's because Zion knew the answer, and I think Abdul was guessing. So crazy work on that guess there.
crazy work on that guess. But for me, it is going to be a 2 just because there was zero chance
Yeah,
of it changing. And it was Zion was HOH, Karina was holding the veto.
Karina voted.
Yeah, there really wasn't anything that was gonna happen here. So it's just kind of a 2. And it'll be left at that.
Maybe a two for me too. I loved having Abdul this season. I think I appreciated what he put into the season. Um, and I think he kind of realized too late like how the end of the game goes. And I don't think he ever was like complaining about it, but he was kind of just like, well, there's like I'm not gonna be able to win against Zion and Karina in these end competitions, which is making me rethink structurally a little bit, which we'll talk about and we've already like kind of talked about. Um,
I'm in the air. I'm yes and no. Because here's the thing. Really, I agree that like maybe the stretch of all of them at the end doesn't need like maybe
yeah,
Final Four HOH doesn't need to be trivia. But then again, Abdul almost won that. Um, for me, the thing is, it's like the Final Five and Final Four vetoes test different comp abilities. Knowing season trivia is not going to win you either of those comps per se. And like for example, like we've seen like in season 10, like Anthony flopped one and then mastered another, or like Suba flopped one and like did you know what I
yeah.
mean? Like it does
I
take
think
different.
it's honestly the final five that is the worst.
I think maybe it can be restructured in terms of like that feels like if you've played fandom games before, you have a bigger advantage than if you've studied the season. For
Exactly.
me, the fact that like on paper, and I'm so sorry to say this, Abdul, but it was like Abdul just didn't have notes and didn't put in the effort to do it. And I do think that like, I think someone like Gabby stood just as much of a shot as
Yeah, but what
Karina
does
Mack
that
because
say to people who don't know to do that? Is that an access issue?
but the thing is Gabby didn't know to do that and she found it out herself.
Yeah, but even still, like is that something that you should
It's
be given an
also like
advantage if you're going to do your research? Like, is that I don't know.
research effort. If you're playing Big Brother, like this is also not the first season. Like we've done OTEV, we've done competition recall. Like people should know that we're gonna test the
I
season.
totally agree. I just think that I think it's the combination of part two and part three right next to each other that is a little like I mean, I think you can always tell who's going to win part two. I feel like that's never really up in the air.
It's never
Um,
been a huge
but it is
question.
a thing of just like we test information ability a couple hours before like the final competition of the season. And it's like that's back to back. And the final five it is I feel like more about a speed thing, which is like I don't know. I'd look into changing the final five. I think the web is a great competition to keep because it's more about the puzzle than it is and
Yeah.
like your logic ability than it is how good your notes are. And I feel like really the final five is just like how are your notes,
See, I think the final five is more about who knows about text replacements.
which is like, is that what we want the competition to be?
Which I mean, I agree on that front.
I think if you,
But like I think there's a world where Sarah wins like final five veto if it's not as much about like Karina clearly like knew exactly what to do. She just played the comp.
yeah,
You know what I mean? So I think the discussion is more the mechanic of the comp and not that it's season trivia. Because quite honestly,
sure, yeah, I could be open for some changing something like that.
like I think if it was more less like text replacements, like all of a sudden Sarah's more in the mix. Like and like it's just a thing of like Abdul and Cooper didn't do the prep work, and then heading into Final Four veto still didn't do the prep work. So like that's on them, and I will not take responsibility for them not doing well.
No, I don't take responsibility for it, but it did make me think about how the end is structured. Because it's like if you're trying to
Totally.
take down someone who is like mastered the game information, it's up for discussion of like, do you want them to be able to be safe from the final five on pretty much?
Yeah, I just think like master the game info. Like everyone has the same info.
I guess. I mean, it speaks to like Karina coming in and knowing exactly what the comps were and knowing what notes to take versus
Yeah,
Abdul, who
being a vet
came in
does
and
provide
like
that
didn't
advantage.
know that. Or
Yeah.
like knowing someone who has made it to these end competitions and
And
gets
I mean,
information from them, even if they're not on the season.
granted, Abdul is quite close with both Ava and Danny, who famously both made it to this
For sure.
point.
Yeah,
But
I
um,
agree. But just because you know someone doesn't mean that they will give you the information. But having someone who will give you that information, you see my point. You're trying to work around it, but you see
no,
what I'm
I see your point. I think that this season exists in a slightly different vacuum. We are playing with like vets versus newbies, which
sure.
like has its advantages and disadvantages. I think we run into the same issue on just newbie seasons, but the issue is less so. I think like people have an advantage if they know people, whatever. But like I think if you look at like season 17, for example, Hayden was uber dedicated and had the notes and won the comps. Juan was uber dedicated and had the notes and just wasn't as good at the like, but there was
Yeah.
no, they were all
I lost him.
first time players. I think the issue is less season trivia and more who's played fandom games and knows about tech specifically for that final five.
We'll workshop the final five. I would be interested into seeing if we could reformat it somehow. Because even on the show, it's like
Anywho,
they like hit the buttons. You know what I mean? Um, yeah. Anyway, so two for Abdul is where we were going with that.
great.
I'm offline apparently. There we go. Okay, Cooper.
Cooper, knowing where, I mean, like we both each other, we know where this is definitely the biggest difference we've scored. We usually don't separate more than being the exact same versus one off from each other. But I was definitely lower than you here. I was at a three. And while I won't like reveal where you're at for me, I was at a three because I really like there was not a world where he won this game. He set himself up for failure here. He thought that, and I don't mean this to be on a dunk on Cooper session because I will say some positive things in a moment, but like he thought he dominated, that both Karina and Zion were going to take him to the final two, and then that the like, and then what? Like, A, they were never going to take him. B, the jury was never going to vote for him. C, I don't think his jury performance would have been what the jurors wanted to hear to allow them to vote for him. I just really think it was never in the cards, and he's only at a three because he made it to finale, and there technically was a sliver of a chance. Um, with that said, across the season, Cooper is here because of the game that he played. I would not say that Cooper got dragged along. There was this kind of like mantra in the finale that like people were like, "Oh, Cooper, like they just dragged you along." That was not the case. No one was dragging Cooper. Cooper was actively situated in the middle for a very long time, and in my opinion, was a heavy contender to win up until last week in the final six when he made concretely the opposite of the correct, like concretely the opposite of the right move for petty purposes and made it very clear that they were petty purposes. That's when it was a chop for me. And that's the only reason that I'm at a three right now. It is still the residual effects of that. And then the bad read that he had for specifically and only just these last 2 weeks. So it's a three for me.
Yeah, it wasn't that deep for me. I gave him a five because he was in the final three. I think he played a good game up until recently. Um, he honestly was pretty close in part two. He had most of the answers correct, and I was the one. I did both of them. He just like couldn't figure out the last two that he had, and it took him a few extra minutes, which honestly was only the separation between him and Zion. And it's there's likely a world where he brought himself to the end, and I don't think he would have gotten many votes, but him being there and at least having an articulate case, I don't necessarily think he would have had a bad articulation, especially against. I mean, maybe Zion would have been more confident against Cooper. I don't know, but
Well,
I
if Cooper won the final HOH, it would have been him and Karina in the final two.
but if Zion cut him, I think he could have been against
Sure.
or cut. That's what I mean. There's a world where he's against Zion, is what I'm saying.
That world is Zion wins the final HOH and cuts Karina, which wasn't happening. So I would say there was not a world where that happens.
Well, okay, whatever. If that he was against Zion, I think he could have been more articulate than him. I wonder if Zion would have been more confident if he knew he was going to win. Um, but I give him a five just because it's the end of the season. Final three, I don't know, it wasn't that deep for me to go down, be that low. I think usually in the four, final three, I feel like if you're here, like five's good. All right,
Karina. Um, I was up to a 9 for the final five, and I've stayed at my 9 for the uh final four here. I it is tough for me to give out tens. I have to feel real good about your game if I'm giving a 10. And if this is a collective score for a season, I at this point, and of course we know now what happens, but at this point did not feel confident in giving Karina the full 10. And it is because I think for 80% of the game was playing for getting herself and Zion to final two, which granted is exactly what happened. But I thought that the moves were at a deficit to her and at a benefit to Zion. Which granted, if you're in the final two and you complete your case, doesn't necessarily matter, as was shown. Um, it is a very high 9 because we were starting to see the jury talk of like, Karina played a strong game. Um, but spoiler, I do have her one tick below the person that I thought did play
who's
the
that?
best game throughout the whole season. I don't know. I'm only giving out 110 this season. So I don't know who it could be, but it is a 9 for Karina. We'll talk about the finale after we give these final scores. But very, very impressive season from Karina. Defied a lot of odds and was thrilled to see her with this title.
Right. So KG. Um, I locked in a 10 for Karina. I mean you've already said your score too. I locked in the 10 for Zion also. Um, I think they both deserved to have tens going into the finale of this season. I mean, they just played so dominantly. I think they both had subtle flaws at points with decision making. I think they both had really strong independent decision making as well. So I feel like there were points for both of them. Karina can say all she wants that, well, I don't want to get her into trouble, but Karina can say all she wants that she was playing for Zion to win. She had a diary room at the final three, part one HOH. She won. She said, I want this so badly. I'm so glad I won this. I know deep down she wanted to win also.
No, she
So
wanted. I don't. She never wanted to lose. Like you don't want to lose the game.
yeah.
Um,
And if she really didn't want to win, she wouldn't have given a lawyer ass speech in the final two.
if she didn't want to win, she would have done what Victoria Conroy did.
Yes.
So
She, in my eyes, was they both were extremely deserving of tens from me this season. So I'm giving Karina a 10.
call me a hater, and I am a Karina stan to be very clear.
I will.
But I gave. I almost didn't give Luke the 10 in 16. Like
Which was
I'm
crazy.
very sparse with
Which was crazy.
my tens. With that said, I gave Zion the 10. Zion, I really think like flawless is not the word obviously I would use. There definitely were times that he knows that he got in trouble. Um, and the thing about Zion in this whole game for me was his willingness to make the optimal play always, even if there was a chance that he would get evicted for it the following week. Very much. I don't think it was him that said it. I honestly think it was Rizzo on Survivor. I don't know why that's like resonating with me right now, but he played very much, in my opinion, like there is no difference between 18th place and third place. He wants to win. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of people play BBSS of like wanting to make it as far in the game and experience the whole thing. And while clearly from talking to Zion, like he loved this, which I'm thrilled with, but I think from the moment we saw his casting video, like he was here to win the game. I was so close to doing so. Um, he was coming into tonight or into finale night, I think, as the odds-on favorite. Um, and I think that unfortunately, in the final hour, the dominoes fell exactly as they had to for him to lose the game. And that was him winning the final HOH, cutting Cooper, and then not being super willing to say in the final two speeches that while yes, it's been him and Karina the whole time, he took Karina because them as a duo have been making moves the whole game that have benefited him. And also, um, that like he brought her because of that fact and thought that yes, Karina's a strong player, but I am the stronger player. I think had he said that, we'd be sitting with a different result. Um, all to say, one hell of a game from Zion. Um, one of the most impressive and daring games that we've seen. Um, absolutely, like I'm sitting here so confident in my tens. For him, him and Karina are a duo unlike we've seen since season 5, as we've talked about. And I think Steven, you're right that I would give Karina and Zion the edge here. Although I think they made maybe worse plays here and there. I think they were up against stronger competitors, which is funny to say about our first All-Star season. They were up against stronger competitors in the end game. They had to maneuver differently. They also kept their duo a secret the whole damn time. Cooper thought that both of them were taking him to the end. Um, like people didn't realize it fully until the end game, and even then, they didn't really realize it. How close they are. Yeah. So yeah, all to say, a 10 for Zion from
Yeah, I'm
me.
giving him a 10 as well. Um, really great gameplay here. I mean, I think he's solidified himself as one of the best players we've had over the course of our 18 seasons. So I think he's like I mean, I understand. Like you put so much work into it for 34 days and to come up one vote short is probably like literally heartbreaking. Um, but and it's easy for me to sit here and say like, oh no, but like second place is still so good and you still did so well. And that probably doesn't make him feel better like at all. But it's true. Uh so really great game this season. I appreciate how much effort he put in to the experience and how risky he made the season. He played the season. So that is it. The final rankings graph. I think Scott is getting ready to show the average rankings. Are you typing them all in?
No, I have them ready to be pasted in.
Oh,
But I was wondering, so do you know the averages off like the top of your head, like on the whole?
like the order that each
Like
one.
like like if is there a world where you want to play like a guessing game of like who do you think ranked up at the top and who at the
Sure. I mean, I have a probably a good idea, but
let's start with our top five. In your opinion, who do you think
top
is
five, or do you want to go from the bottom?
Um, oh, like go like one at a time from the bottom and like
Oh, what were
see
you
how
putting under?
I don't
Top five.
I don't know.
Okay, top five. It's not going to be in
Go
order.
one at a time.
Okay, Zion.
Yes, Zion is number one this season with a 7.29 average. He ranks seventh overall, period. Ranking only behind three other winners who are three of our greatest winners of all time. Um,
Do you want to say who they are? Yes.
just very, very impressive. A 7.29 average, especially on this season where we were lowballing people. Crazy work. So Zion, if it wasn't clear already in the after that this is coming out, like holy shit. Did you oh no, did you cut out again?
No, I heard you. I'm being sassy.
Oh, amazing. Because you cut in halfway through and I didn't it was like robot-y.
Oh.
But if you heard everything, then let's move forward.
Karina.
Karina is number two. A significant drop off, but still in the green. Karina and Zion are the only two people in the green with an average of green scores, which I think is deserved this season. But yeah, although slightly below her 17 average, um, I think she is a masterful player. Being on FaceTime with her and like seeing her talk to people, there's a reason why she was able to make, in my opinion, not this sounds so like bad. Like I don't mean to keep harping on this. There's a reason why, like at times, making suboptimal plays was fine, and it's because her social game and the way that she's able to talk to people is so powerful. The way she's able to snow people and on calls and talk. So kudos, Karina. Such a deserved final two here.
I don't want to do this 18, 16 more times. So,
Well, that's why I said guess a top five.
well, I did it. I said Zion, and then you said yes, Zion. Here's talking about Zion. So,
Do
Zion.
we not want to? Okay, great.
Well, I was trying to guess five, and then you cut me off with Zion. Zion, Karina. This isn't going to be in order. Johnny,
Johnny is in. Johnny makes number five.
Abdul,
Abdul makes number three,
Sarah.
and Sarah makes number
Oh,
four.
I mean, that's pretty obvious, I feel like.
Um, yeah, these are our top five of the season. Um, it makes sense to me. Do would I have necessarily put Johnny here? No. However, with that said, I feel like some people that make it to the early jury that maybe get sniped do tend to have higher rankings. Like Nora has like a crazy high ranking, kind of for like that same reason as well. So not a perfect science, but like deserves here.
Yeah, maybe we should weight it differently.
Yeah, yeah. There's like a or like a bonus to like making it another week. I don't know. I'll just say that's that. Do you want to guess the bottom five now?
Yeah, Laura.
Laura is in the bottom five, but she is not the bottom one. She is the bottom two.
Did we give Faith a one?
And it's because Faith averaged with a 1.5.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. Um, I gotta look these. I gotta think EJ's there.
EJ is not in the bottom five. EJ falls just out of it.
Okay. Okay. Cade.
EJ is in sixth. Um, yes, Kate is
Let me
there.
just go in order. Cade. Ava's gotta be down there.
Indeed, she is.
Do I think Kelsey or Eli is lower? Is it either of them?
Well, you have to make a guess.
Uh, I'm gonna say Eli.
Eli has fallen in at 11th place.
Oh,
So
uh, where's Cooper at?
Cooper did make the top nine. He made the top half.
Okay.
He was at ninth.
Okay.
Um, but he
All right,
did
I'll
make
say Kelsey. I'll say Kelsey.
Kelsey came in
I'm
at 10th.
I'm really bad at this. Who the hell is that?
I think it should be clear.
Is it is it Andre?
It is Andre.
That's kind of surprising. Let me look at this.
No, I think he was playing stupid from the start, and I'll say that to his
I don't
face.
remember him being that. I guess he. Oh yeah, yeah,
He was only at threes and fours like the entire
yeah,
season.
yeah, yeah. Is that Matthew in there?
Yeah, so Matthew has placed at number 13. Filling in the rest here from the bottom up, we have Gabby, who has come in at eighth, followed by Julia, who came in at seventh, and Rod, who came in at
So low. I can't believe only three people were above a five average.
yeah, not no, it's pretty uncommon. Um,
And over half the cast was below a four average. I feel like that's kind of crazy.
well, not only over half the cast, over five, six, two thirds, two, no, five sixths of, oh, below a four. Sorry,
Yeah,
I
below
see.
four.
Yeah, overcast below a four. Only one sixth of them above a five. Um, Crazy season of crazy positioning.
But we had a
Um,
blast through it all.
Last year at all. I just did my like season rankings today. I re-looked at it, and I think I had this coming in at number six. I said I
What?
could be convinced to make it number five, but I currently have this sitting.
2, 3, 7, 16 above it.
I have so currently my ranking is everyone get ready to take your notes. Season 16, number one, seven, number two, nine, number three.
Hmm.
Three is four, two is five. Then I have season 18 here, followed by our solid seasons, which I have at season 8, season 15, and season 11. Season 1 has always kind of been smack dab in the middle. Amazing season that really just fucked up the ending. Um, then I have season 14, season 13, which has slowly risen. Good for them. Season 10, season 12, season 5, season 17, raising a spot. Congrats to them.
Yeah, season 17 deserves justice.
Um, Season 6, you're back down to bottom two. And season 4, you've never left. um,
Wait, who was right above 17?
5.
I feel like 17 deserves above five.
No, I have fonder memories of 5. I really do. I understand that you're like, and you deservedly so have a more tainted view of 5 after the hell of the episodes that they were. And you are so deserved to say that. 5 for me, I look back on, I got so close with Alex and Maeve on that. See, like
That
I
seems
still,
more of a personal issue, though.
okay, but I'm ranking the season, I rank, original seasons that I first watched of like actual reality TV like high because like I
Fair. I
remember
just
them
like,
fondly.
I'm like,
So I remember season 5 fondly because of Alex and Maeve, because it was all of our friends
I feel
from
like
home.
five was mostly like a steamroll with
And
with
and oh, and tell me what
toxicity on top of it.
and tell me how 17 was not a steamroll with toxicity on top of it. Please explain to me.
17 was a steamroll by like a group of five people, which is more exciting than a steamroll of a group of two people.
I would say it was a steamroll of 5 as well. Because when Alex and Maeve didn't win the comps, it was K-Pow and Julia.
I think the toxicity there was really.
No, I would say 17 was just as toxic.
No, you cannot. Are you forgetting things?
At the end game, are you kidding me? Yes. When we got down, if you compare those final sixes, 17 far more.
What was toxic?
In 17, Caden and Damon shouting at each other the whole time. Juan using his, like everyone was crying the whole time.
That was before the final six.
That was literally the final six. And then the final five when Karina is yelling at Caden and then Danny is being like, it was all just crash outs and toxicity the whole time.
Yeah, but five had like the gang up on people. It had the cheating scandal. It had Anthony being a mess.
Okay, for me, the ganging up on people, absolutely toxic. That is now, I think, looked back at by all as more iconic and was also the final 16,
I
which
don't.
holds less weight to me than the Endgame stuff.
That felt really personal to me. In addition
Yes.
to the whole like Grace
No,
Del Pizzo thing,
in the
and
moment,
in
it got
addition
very
to the
personal.
battle back with Bella, like
Yeah, no, it absolutely got personal. If season five happened right now, like, yeah, probably not looking at it as something. I think we've all been able to move past it as people. And therefore, I
yeah,
look back on it
sure.
and like, wow, what a crazy, like, I would revisit moments of season five more often than I would revisit moments of season 17 due to the fondness of like, of them being our friends from home, I think. Um, and like what that season,
I think also season five is the reason that people will not return.
yes, no, exactly. Yeah.
So maybe I'm just bitter in that sense too. But
If I had to list out like the iconic land stone moments that makes BBSS it, like season five, like you can cut season 17 from the record and like the story of BBSS would be fine.
sure,
Like
sure.
five holds too much weight for me to put 17 of all things above it. And that's why I have five as fourth to last.
What's above five?
I think I have 12 there. Let me see. Like I consider moving five above 12. I have 12 there
I would
because
consider moving both of them above 12, to be real.
um
Honestly, Simona and Sean are the only reason I think.
no, for me, the catfish. I think Maeve and Dalton
Oh
so much
yeah.
like that was such a fun gimmick and
There were just
twist.
too many. We had a casting issue. I think if we had,
It was a toxic not I would say to tie it back to season 18. Season 18 might be one of my favorite casts we've ever had universally.
I
And
think we
I've
had
been
a casting issue.
talking about this cast for a while. Season 12, I would say I enjoy maybe five of them at best.
Okay. I need to get not be here. You have anything else to say?
Um, no, I don't think so. That wraps up season 18, one for the books. I think, you know, who knows what the future holds for BBSS. We know we are making it to at least 20. I think we will see at least two familiar faces from 18 represent that season. If I had to take a guess right now, granted, Stephen and I on the record in this moment have no idea what the season is going to be.
Mhm.
So let's make that clear, all you people. But like, let's say we go beyond 20. This cast will definitely be one that gets dipped into quite often. I honestly like of the jurors, there isn't a single one of them that I like would not be happy to see play again on the right season. On the right season is the key term. But yeah, are you still there or
Yeah, I'm here.
okay, yeah.
I agree with you. We've said this all before. I don't think too many new
Yeah.
people are watching this. So
So yeah, for all of you season 18ers that are watching this, season 19 casting is probably open when you're watching this. If it's not, there's a chance it will be shortly.
if it's not, it probably means that we are starting the season tomorrow. So
Um,
and we've already have the cast, so you're good.
um, no, I'd like to think that we're gonna be a little more on top of it, and that season 19 is a little further out in the future
I
than
love this
immediate.
positive thinking. This is great.
But we think this every time, so I'm not gonna. Yeah.
We'll
Yeah.
see.
Okay.
I'm inclined to start working on the season soon.
I'm inclined to think that this season will be posted before the year strikes 2026.
That is kind of bold.
If we do what we did for 17, I think we're fine.
It's in like 5 weeks, six
You know,
weeks.
that's a fair point that you make.
It's like, yeah, next week's already not next week. The following week is already December.
Um, that's scary. Anyway, yeah, that's all I've got.
Okay. All right. Peace. Ending season 18 on a bang. Okay, bye.
All right.
Stop.